Good morning, dear children. Let's continue with the next paragraph of this lesson. In previous session, we have already discussed the first paragraph of this lesson. So let's see what all things have been explained by A.G. Gardner. It's a kind of essay in which A.G. Gardner has taken an example of a liftman who throws the passenger out of his lift. So what all kinds of situations and incidents takes place and how the manners are very important in our daily life that we are discussing. So I had taught you about the magical words which we have to make habit of using it repeatedly. Which are the magical words, children? The magical words are please, thank you, sorry, isn't it? Now let's see. Let's start with the second paragraph. I may be as uncivil as I may please, and the law will protect me against violent retaliation. So here, I, author, he is taking his own example. So if he may please and if he is uncivil, uncivil means if he not obeys the orders, if he not goes according to the laws. So what happens? The law will protect him, isn't it? So actually uncivil, if he is having any kind of attack on him or the law will protect him, and the law will make him to take revenge also for his insult, will help him to take the revenge. I may be haughty or boorish, and there is no penalty to pay except the penalty of being written down an ill-mannered fellow, or otherwise, if the misbehavior is done by the author himself, if he is arrogant and if he misbehaves with somebody, then he should pay penalty. The law will punish him, and what it will be written for him? It will be written that he is an ill-mannered fellow. He is not having manners, so for that reason he doesn't respect others and he insults others. For this, the law will charge him to pay penalty, and there will be a tag given to him that he is a ill-mannered fellow. The law does not compel me to say please or to attune my voice to other people's sensibilities any more than it says that I shall not wax my moustache or dye my hair or wear ringlets. Compel means to force, children. So the law doesn't force anybody else to say these magical words. We have to understand and realize it ourselves. How our manners and how our behavior makes others to get happy. The atmosphere should be uh, the happy atmosphere. Means if you go anywhere else, the people should welcome you. Instead, they should not regret that why you have come. They should not feel bad that why you have come, why you have joined there. So the people should enjoy your company. Am I right, children? They should and you should have such kind of behavior where the people should feel like you are inspiring and motivating. Okay, so there should be an example. You should be an example to others. You should have humbleness, you should have politeness. See, the polite tongue grabs everybody's attention. The humble nature grabs everybody's attention. That's what I want to say here. So the law doesn't make us or force us to use these kinds of manners, or you have to behave this way or you have to behave that way. Are there any laws made for that? No. We don't find any kind of laws made for the rectification of the behavior or instilling or making the changes in the behavior. So one example here author gives, if I shall not wax my moustache or dye my hair or ringlets, wear ringlets. Ringlets means curly hair, children. So the law doesn't compel us, the law doesn't force us to dress like this or to dress like that. Am I right? So everybody has their own freedom, and it is not said that you have to dress this way or you have to dress that way. It does not recognize the laceration. Laceration means hurt feelings of our feelings as a ease of compensation. There is no allowance for moral and intellectual damages in these matters. So, even the law doesn't identify, it doesn't identify who has hurt and who is hurting the feelings. Okay? So, there is no compensation for this, there is no penalty for this. So, emotions are natural, children. Emotions, his behavior. So, the human being, where he lives, the atmosphere affects a lot. If he is living in such kind of atmosphere, in a rude atmosphere, automatically he will become rude. And if he is living in a polite atmosphere, the atmosphere affects his behavior. That all depends on the human being's nature, how he adapts it, how he makes the changes in his behavior. It happens, children. Many of the rude people, they try to change, they try to change their aggressiveness, and they bring changes also. It all depends on the will of the human beings. This does not mean that the damages are negligible. It is probable that the liftman was much more acutely hurt by what he regarded as a slur upon his social standing than he would have been if he had a kick on his shins, for which he could have got a legal redress. The pain of a kick on the shins soon passes away, but the pain of a wound to our self respect or our vanity may poison a whole day. Here, A.G. Gardner, he tries to grab our attention towards the same incident. Which incident it was? The liftman threw the passenger out of the lift. So instead of throwing him out, he could have kicked him. The passenger, the liftman, if he had kicked him, it would have soon passed. But what he did, he threw him out. So this was a kind of insult for him. Passenger's self-respect was hurt. So he complained against the liftman and he lost his job. So here A.G. Gardner tells the pain of the kick on the shin soon passes, but the wound of our self-respect or our vanity means pride, children, may poison a whole day. If our self-respect is hurt, it never passes. The person never forgets it. So same it happened here. Passenger's self-respect was hurt and he was unable to tolerate it. So he went and complained against the liftman, and what happened, liftman lost his job. I can imagine that liftman denied the relief of throwing the author of his wound out of the lift, brooding over the insult by the hour and visiting it on his wife in the evening as the only way of restoring his equilibrium. So he tells, he thinks about here A.G. Gardner thinks about the position of the liftman. So what happened? Liftman lost his job. He was thrown out of the job. Only thing was it was a kind of wound on him. It was a kind of wound he carried to his home. And whom he will be putting his anger on, whom, children? When he goes home, he will be putting his anger on his wife to balance that anger, isn't it? He was in a bad mood before. Even now it became worst. Now on whom he should put his anger? None other than on his wife only. So he says here, the insult, it was a kind of insult by the hour. And after visiting his wife, he may get reduced or he may get increased also. He may balance it. For there are few things more catching than bad temper and bad manners. Now, another example here A.G. Gardner tries to give us. When Sir Anthony Absolute bullied Captain Absolute, the latter went out and bullied his man, Fag. Whereupon, Fag means small worker children. Fag went out downstairs and kicked the page boy. Now, there will be few things catching about the bad temper and bad manners. And for that, A.G. Gardner gives an example. What is the example he has given here? Sir Anthony Absolute, who was the in charge of the ship, he scolded Captain Absolute. So, Captain Absolute, when he got scolded by the in charge, he got angry and he came down. He went down and he bullied another person. He scolded another person. The fag, he was the small worker. Whereas what happened? The small worker also got angry when he got scolded by the captain. So the small worker came to the page boy and he kicked the page boy. You can see, children, how the angriness is passed by one person to another. How it spoiled the day. How it spoiled the atmosphere. Probably the man who said top to the liftman was really only getting back to his employer, who had not said good morning to him because he himself had been henpecked at breakfast by his wife, to whom the cook had been insolent because the housemaid had answered her back. Now, here A.G. Gardner talks about the bad mood of the passenger who not said please. What it was demanded by liftman, children? Liftman demanded him please. The passenger did not say please, only he said top. Now here he tries to understand why he did not say please. Maybe the passenger did not say please because maybe he got scolded by his employer, by his boss. Now, when we think of the boss, why boss has scolded, or maybe he had not said good morning. The employer did not say good morning to the passenger where he works, children, where he works in his office. Maybe it happened. Here A.G. Gardner is making an assumption. So what kind of assumption he is making? Passenger did not get the answer from his boss. The boss did not say good morning to him. And now why the boss did not say good morning? Maybe boss got scolded, means maybe boss got argument. He argued with his wife during breakfast and he was in bad mood. Are you understanding, children? Who was in bad mood? Maybe employer. The boss was in bad mood because he got argued with his wife during breakfast. And why his wife argued with boss? The cook to whom he had insolent, means the cook was not there. His wife was cooking because housemaid had not come, means she had not cooked properly. Here what I mean to say is she has not cooked properly and the breakfast was not good. So when boss asked her why the breakfast is not good, she started to argue. And why she got angry? The housemaid was not there. The housemaid had answered her back. So you can see, children, how the miscommunication creates this all confusion, creates this all situation. We infect the world with our ill humors. That's all. If we carry this miscommunication in our mind, if we carry these kinds of ill manners in our minds, then automatically we spoil the atmosphere. We have to leave that there only. Bad manners probably do more to poison the stream of the general life than all the crimes in the calendar. So, A.G. Gardner tells us bad manners would poison the stream. Stream means the chain with whom we communicate. So instead of carrying those bad manners with us, we should carry good manners. And it remains in the calendar, the A.G. Gardner tells us. Now, another example he gives here. For one wife who gets a black eye from an otherwise good natured person husband, there are 100 who live a life of martyrdom under the shadow of a morose temper. If a wife gets doubt on a good natured husband, then the husband, if he is good person also, he'll be living like a martyrdom, means like shaheed we call in Hindi, means he will be having bad, means he'll be living as the unsatisfied life. He'll not be happy children if his wife gets doubt on him. So even these kinds of situation also we can see in our life. But all the same, the law cannot become the guardian of our private manners. The law doesn't make or doesn't guard any kind of private manners. No decalogue would cover the vast area of offences, and no court could administer a law which governed our social civilities, our speech, the tilt of our eyebrows, and all our moods and manners. So, no decalogue could cover the vast area. Decalogue means 10 commandments, children. 10 commandments, these are mentioned in Bible. And these 10 commandments given by God. And according to these 10 commandments, what is good, what is right, what is wrong, it is mentioned. And according to that, the God will be punishing human beings. And no court would administer a law. No court is having such kind of authority to guard the social activities, social civilities, or speech, even the moods and the manners. Okay. What A.G. Gardner gives further examples, and what kind of manners and behavior he talks about, we will see in the next session. Okay, I request you to read the lesson again, and if you get any doubt, you can ask me in Google Classroom. Read it again and again, all these 3 paragraphs, and write the meanings of the difficult words. Meet you in the next session with another paragraph. Thank you.